Cafe Anyway.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Welcome to FF episode 2366, 2366. Thank you for joining me here at Cafe Anyway.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Where's that? Where's Cafe Anyway? It's a place that lives inside of your brain and inside of your ears, because I am here and I am saying, hey, listen to this song. I wrote it right now. Or did I write it long ago? I'm not sure. But I hope you enjoyed it, and it's over now. The song that's called
Mike's Daily Podcast.
FF episode 2366. The last show, 2365, was called Regularly.
Mike's
Regularly
Daily
is a wonderful word to say.
Podcast.
You can say it regularly.
Yeah!
If you would like, or not say it at all. It's up to you. It really depends on what you want. But at any rate, it was a great show. We had, let's see, who stopped by on the last podcast. Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, and John Deere the Engineer. Today, we're going to have Madame Rutabaga, Valentino, and Bison Bentley. Because, you know why? Because people, you know why? Because podcasts in general, you know why? They don't have characters. Cafe Anyway characters. None of them have Cafe Anyway characters. The podcast players, the Mike's Daily Podcast players, are only on Mike's Daily Podcast. Did you know that? It's a true thing. It's a fact. It's a true story. Verify it. And you'll be happy to know that all this background music going on was composed by yours truly. It's background. Not background, but background, because people with round backs, they're called hunchbacks, and they're awesome. It doesn't matter if you're a neo-communist or a Quasimodo, we still love you here at Cafe Anyway. Okay, I think that's pretty much all I had to say today. Now, we get into the whole podcast picture thing.
And here's today's podcast picture.
That's right, A-Frame. What is the podcast picture? By the way, you can listen to this show in a myriad of areas, if you did not know that. A myriad. Don't be a myriad. Don't be a Karen. Don't be a Chad. Be a myriad. Places. And Mike is not drunk. Mike is just happy it's Thursday. Oh, that's when we're recording this, by the way. It's Thursday. So you don't realize or get confused or realize that I am confused. Basil the Boxer, the late great Basil the Boxer. He's so awesome. We love him oh so much. How about the sunset from today? Thank you, Basil the Boxer. He and I saw many an awesome sunset. See the podcast picture at MikesDailyPodcast.com. He was in the last podcast picture in Benita 4 years ago. And you know, I'm curious is what I am. I'm furious and I'm curious. And here's why. It's because I'm going to go to my Instagram. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I do not have Instagram on my phone. That makes me furious. Because it's a time suck and it's awful and it just doesn't need to happen. You don't need to constantly look at that. But I am taking a look at the last podcast picture that I posted. I post my podcast pictures to Instagram, as well as MikesDailyPodcast.com. And it looks like Kyle Alfred Hillig. Kyle, and he probably hates it when people call him Kyle, because it's Kai, K-Y-E. Kai Alfred Hillig, who I've had on the podcast before. He sang on the podcast. Fantastic voice. He writes fantastic songs. You can hear some of his stuff at MikesDailyPodcast.com in the interviews section. But he liked the photo of Basil the Boxer. And he met Basil the Boxer, the late great Basil the Boxer, years ago. But the podcast picture today is not of that. No, it is of a beautiful, wondrous sunset that I saw today in Fremont, California. So see it at MikesDailyPodcast.com. But we are at Cafe Anyway in Podcastro Valley. And I'm just thinking, as you are probably as well, that we are trying to be healthy these days. Because it's the beginning of the year, and we think about health at the beginning of the year, don't we? N'est-ce pas? Je suis bon fond? Those are not French words, I don't think. But you know, what I do think is that we need to realize that it's okay to do a little exercise or think healthy and all of that. How to keep your family healthy. I was mentioning last podcast about unplugging. And no, that's not the MTV Unplugged television series that brought us Nirvana Unplugged and them doing David Bowie, the man who owned the world. And then there was the Unplugged that Eric Clapton did. The crazy anti-vaxxer Eric Clapton, we found out later, crazy anti-vaxxer. Oh, don't let the government tell you what to do. Go ahead and not take vaccines. That's not irrational at all. You don't want to put anything foreign in your body that you don't know that's not natural, because I know that because I'm Eric Clapton and I did every drug on the planet in the 70s. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why he's an anti-vaxxer, because he did so many drugs in the 70s and now he doesn't want to do any more. But whatever the case, or he's afraid of needles, whatever it is, now he had an Unplugged then in the 90s doing that wonderful Unplugged. Okay, so no, this is a different type of Unplugged, my friend. By the way, one of the best Unplugged was 10,000 Maniacs. And they did Because the Night Belongs to La. Wasn't that a good one? I enjoyed that. What was your favorite Unplugged? You can call me 336MM Daily. 3 plus 3 equals 6. MM is in Mike Matthews. Daily is in what this podcast will try to be. Gets interrupted and all of that. And VH1, they had their own thing called Storytellers, which I enjoyed. Because you had Phil Collins explaining, no, In the Air Tonight is not about somebody that I saw get killed. It's all stuff I just came up with, lyrics, that kind of thing. That was a good one. Storytellers and Unplugged, both great shows. But the Academy, the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry states that too much screen time may lead to problems with sleep, weight, poor self-image, and lower school grades. So spend quality time with the family. Yes, you've heard it over and over again. But you need to unplug in order to make that happen. Foster use of games and activities that encourage exercise, creativity, and enrichment. Practice positive parenting. Lots of P's in that little statement. But the pediatrician, plosive Edward Gatos, offers tips on how to foster good behavior in children. Edward says, discipline works better than punishment. Use discipline to engage with kids, teach self-control, and mold their character and know right from wrong. Encourage and praise appropriate behavior. Compliment your child to help positively mold their behavior and build confidence. Communicate expectations and be consistent. Set limits and stick to them. Not following rules should have expected consequences. And be a parent, not a pal. Firm leadership and guidance will help children handle life's challenges as they grow. Be careful of your words and actions. Kids remember them for a lifetime. Use medicines wisely. Keep only medicines you need and know how to use them properly. Store medicines away from children in a locked cabinet, in a cool, dry, dark place. Work with your pharmacist to properly dispose of medicines no longer used or that are expired. And care for seniors. The CDC says that it's important to listen to older family members who require care and their caregivers to understand their situation. Check in on isolated older adults. Be able to recognize and report elder abuse and be prepared to provide extra support to overburdened caregivers. Oh, being a caregiver. Wow. That is gotta be the most difficult job on the planet. How much exercise is enough? The Physical Activity Guidelines for America at health.gov recommend that children 3 through 5 should be physically active in a variety of activities daily. Then children and adolescents 6 to 17 years old should do an hour or more of moderate to vigorous exercise daily. An hour or more, ages 6 to 7. And adults should do at least 2.5 to 5 hours a week of moderate intensity aerobic exercise, or an hour and a quarter to 2.5 hours a week of vigorous aerobic exercise, or an equivalent combination. Seniors should do a balance training. Yes, balance training, as well as aerobic and muscle strengthening activities as their conditions and abilities allow. And managing medicine, it's just vital to use and manage medicine safely. Know the names of your medicines, how to use them, and the necessary precautions, including foods, drugs, beverages, and activities to avoid, and side effects to report. I remember one time taking an antihistamine, and I was driving into the sun, and I experienced the most intense pain in my sinuses and my eyes. I had to pull over and just close my eyes, and I think I took a nap. And when I woke up, I felt better, but it was just because of the sinuses getting all raw and antihistamine holding back, all the fluids and stuff that come out of your nose and all that. It was not a good combination. So it's good to know what stuff works with what. Know what to do if you miss a dose of the medicine you're supposed to take. Set up a medication taking calendar and use a daily medication dispenser to stay organized. Ensure your child's immunizations are up to date as well as your own. Keep a current list of medicines and download a free medicine list form, which you can find at various places. Now, I got this article from the Costco Connection, which I'm going to give them a slug now because I just gave them a plug. Costco, you are much too big for me. You're huge, and I can't ever get to your store to get things. You intimidate me, and I can't take it. Stop it, Costco. Stop it. Be more friendly to me. Okay, that's all I had to say. And there you go. Outside a cafe anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley. So yes, Madame Rutabaga is here. She's been listening to this wonderful, fantastic, tremendous, what other Trump words can I use? Very, 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 very important article that I just read. And so Chely Shoehart. Hello, ladies.
Hello, Matthews. It's really interesting to hear you talk all about this stuff. Yes, Michael Ross, you're very interesting. Ooh.
So, Chely, do you like to help people out and give them ideas on how to make their lives better?
Yes, Mike Matthews, it's very helpful when I'm helpful to people, Mike Matthews.
Excellent. Very helpful. Very, very helpful. Well, this was a great conversation. Look who else is here.
Hello, Mike. This is Floyd the Floorman.
And this is John Deere, the engineer. Yes, Mike. It's always great when everybody hangs out outside a cafe anyway.
Yeah.
Excellent. Have you noticed how hazy it's been lately in the Bay Area?
Yeah, Mike Matthews, it's been really hazy, Mike Matthews.
That's good. Boy, what a great conversation this has been.
Michael Matthews, I want to leave.
No, let's just still hang out here at the end of the podcast.
But this feels very awkward. Ooh.
No, this is just totally natural, this conversation. We're all just hanging out in the open air. We're social distancing. 20 feet apart.
Mike Matthews, I think it's only 6.
Well, 20 feet, just to be on the safe side. And we all have fantastic hearing, so we hear each other.
This is really great.
We hope Floyd the Floorman doesn't talk anymore, because his voice is very annoying, especially for our really good hearing. And that's about it. Mike, you sound a little bit too much like me. Sorry, John Deere, the engineer. It's okay. Hey, I did a little bit of engineering today at my job. There was something the engineers couldn't figure out, and I made a suggestion, and I was right. So, yeah, that never ever happens in real life, Mike Matthews. That's a myriad of mean things to say to me, but next show it'll be the wonderful, let's see, Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, and the Brewmaster. Chime in about anything we covered today. 336mm daily. 3 + 3 = 6 mm as in Mike Matthews. Daily isn't what this podcast tries to be. Just remember that we're all here to try and make it a better place. I think I'm paraphrasing something that Biden said today. Just trying to help everyone get along. Is that something else he said? I'm being very Biden-esque today. Ooh, the most recent Seth Meyers show, I think the one came out on the 12th. No, came out on the 11th of January. Look it up. His closer look. He says some funny stuff about NPR because NPR got to interview Donald Trump. And this stuff, I was pausing it. We were watching it, my lovely lady friend, and I kept pausing it because I'm like, this is gonna be great. To paraphrase the late great Flounder from I met him too. Very nice guy. Last name was Durst. I can't remember his first name, but very nice guy. He's no longer with us though. But yes, from Animal House. Okay. So Seth makes some funny comments about how NPR, for the most part, their hosts are pretty not monotone, but just very, you know how they are, how they just don't really, they act very just like there's no, he made the comment that they need more range. Seth Meyers, the comedian, hosts the Late Show, whatever it's called. So yeah, I don't know. It's probably why I know I'll never get a job at NPR. I know they would never hire me. There's a little too much personality in Mike Matthews, so that's not going to happen. That's very dry, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And every podcast that they put out, very dry. What do you think? Chime in. On ways to chime in, here's A-Frame taking us out.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Email Mike now at MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!